talking Sunday sport and weekend sports show. We gathered here for more. There's not much left in the Premier League season, is there? But there's still plenty of action to go. It's tightening up. City winning 3-0 at home to Brentford, just putting the pressure on Westall. Everton.
Yeah, indeed, Gav. Yeah, it's proved to be a very, very exciting and close title run-in. And I think today is going to be box office watching on Sky Sports later on. Arsenal taking on West Ham in an effort to try and extend that gap at the top of the table. So Manchester City closed it yesterday to 2 points. So they can't really get any slippers for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta's side. Should they want to clinch a first title in 20 plus years? Manchester City, I think, have got proven quality as we've seen over the years of the title running, closing down their opponents, chasing them in, reading them in effectively, and then clinching the title. And it looks like this one could potentially go to the final day. The City's win at Brentford yesterday was great on all accounts from their point because they were goals at half time, and in the second half they really wrapped up the start. Jeremy Doku here with an exquisite finish. He's been on fire recently, Doku, and Erling Haaland, of course, on the score sheet so many times this season for Manchester City. They all count. This one was Omar Marmous's Omar Marmous's goal for City's third, which clinched the win. It was a great win from their confidence side of things from all parts. But for Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, it will be a precious time for him and his squad right now. Their lead at the top is just 2 points. They can extend that to 5 if they beat West Ham today, but that game against West Ham is going to be pretty tough by all accounts because the Hammers need the points to stay up. They can get out of the relegation zone with a win later on, leapfrog Tottenham Hotspur, and it's a crucial match for them too. So the pressure really is on both sides later on, but particularly for Arsenal away at West Ham.
Tottenham has such a storied season as well, haven't they? And before we come there as well. I think credibility and credence given to United in third place. They've kind of been a quiet success story. One might argue they're not going to win, but a relatively quiet success story. A period of consolidation and win.
This is it. It's a really good point, that, because I think Manchester United, you look at the tenure under Ruben Amorim, former manager, and the head coach, they were in all sorts of bother. Mid-table, looking like they were lost. The transfers weren't working out. Michael Carrick comes in as interim manager, and their form has completely revamped. And they're third in the league, 9 points, I think, off Manchester City in second. Not going to finish there, but I mean, in terms of a success story and a resurgence story, really, Manchester United's season, I think, has turned from an average to mediocre one to a good one by all accounts. And I think whoever they choose to come in to either replace Carrick or they stick with Carrick, if they get the signings right, who knows what could be, on the prospect for them next season. I mean, it's a positive time to be a Manchester United fan, I think.
Hasn't always been the case, not for a few years. Let's talk about north of the border, shall we? Because it's the 2-horse race south, but a bit of a 3-horse race upwards.
I'd say it's more of a 2-horse if you look at it from a realistic point of view. Rangers are still in the mix, but it's unlikely by many accounts because it's Hearts and Celtic sort of leading the way. Hearts are 4 points clear after their draw with Motherwell yesterday. They missed the chance to go 6 points clear, but Rangers and Celtic play today at noon, a seismic encounter, final Old Firm derby of the season. Looks like it's actually Martin O'Neill's final Old Firm game as well in charge of Celtic. It's his third spell at Celtic this season. I mean, it's been a rollercoaster year for them. Rangers got the best of them in the league in the Old Firm derbies this time around, but for Celtic, if they lose, Hearts have the chance to end a 60-60 away for another top flight title. It's been a long time waiting for a team other than Rangers or Celtic to have won the Scottish Premiership. If Celtic lose and Hearts have the chance to win with a game to spare when they face Falkirk on Wednesday. So there is a lot riding on this one for the Scottish Premiership title race too. And Celtic can go within a point off top with a win as well later on. So there's so much riding on it in terms of the Scottish Premiership, and Hearts and Celtic play each other on the final day as well. So it's all coming down to a fantastic running in Scotland as well. It's a brilliant time to be watching football in this running. I'll tell you what.
If you've got a season ticket, you've got your money's worth, don't you, this
Absolutely.
Top club. Absolutely. Really good to have you with us. We're going to be playing more on the Sky Sports website and our special opinions too. Plenty more here as well to come. All the day's top stories, of course. We go there.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear sky? All clear travel insurance sponsored Sky News.
Hello. Please like and subscribe. Subscribe and like and subscribe. Much appreciated.
That fine weather this afternoon, much of England Wales seems so developing.
How you all doing?
Weather windy conditions in the northwest, spraying south and central Scotland, while Northern Ireland largely cloudy with a few showers at times. Temperatures peaking in the teens Celsius from the far southwest. Could see getting no higher, 18, that's 64 Fahrenheit. Overnight cloud may will sweep southwards live from northwest England to wash by daybreak. Clearer, colder conditions following from the north with a widespread frost.
All Clear Travel Insurance proudly sponsors Sky News Weather.
Dooby-dooby-doo.
Winter showers to Glasgow, not out of the woods yet. Still to come here on Sky News. We're going to chat to Jonathan about the Prime Minister's situation following bruising local election results for
One of a kind people. There's one of a kind gift. For one of a kind birthday. Gifts that say I get you. Etsy.
You want your car in good hands with expertise? We'll help keep it moving this season with these. You want your annual service ticked off? That's great. And install their batteries fit while you wait. You've not far to go for a garage or store. Check the ball. You want mobile experts to fit tires on your drive while you relax and to keep moving forward with none of the fuss. You want Halford. The name.
When the tea is good, you either need the tea, Fever-Tree Mediterranean tonic water, straight up or mixed, and tomato taste. What makes your teeth unique is what makes them hard to clean. A warm brush head makes cleaning even harder. It's less effective at cleaning your teeth and gums, leaving more bacteria behind. So remember to switch to a new oral green brush head every 3 months. A new filling the gaps to the hard-to-reach spaces between teeth, removing plaque and bringing power back to 100%. So check, change, and get back to your perfect clean. With Oral B.
With Pension B, the main thing I like is the app. I feel like I'm happy to make my own decisions about any withdrawals. It's really simple.
Pension B.
Your family has been making this beautiful and traditional butter for decades, but now you've got slightly less traditional in developed in your kitchen.
Yes, I spend hour after hour on create recipe after recipe. They're upscale, and vary. They are around recipe without the chef. And this is the new cowboy butter.
Oh yeah, that's like the ultimate cooking hack. That's all you need is good steak.
That one?
Yeah.
If we push too hard, simply push back. What happens next is my favorite part.
F1 is back. And this season has been anything but ordinary. The new era of F1, live on Sky Sports.
Beneath the surface, one element connects everything.
It's truly one of the most extraordinary places on the planet.
Descend into the unknown, from fragile reefs to ocean predators. Discover a range of back-to-back documentary series exploring the water below. Creatures shaped by its currents. Adapting, evolving, enduring. Dive into a world of water with Sky Nature Shows. Weekends from 6 p.m. on Sky Mix.
Wow, it's been another busy week in Westminster Premiership. Under question after a very poor performance in the local elections for Labour. Let's speak now about and try to get to see there was no shortage of politics as ever on the programme this morning. Let's start though in Wales, shall we? The leader of Plaid Cymru. Talking about Wales, but not talking about it is very interesting. I mean, obviously, it's has not been in Labour hands. It's the first time since the revolution that the First Minister will not be a leader of the Labour Party in the Senate. And it is, without question, the first time that this kind of assembly will be essentially the competing parties will be Plaid Cymru, in the majority, they will no doubt be the largest party in the government, and on the other hand, Reform. So it's all new there, and I think Rina Gilmore, who payroll And on top of that, he has got to get some money basically out of Westminster because he's promised lots of things, you know, more money on this, more money on that, more teachers and so on. So he's got a big job in front of him, but Clyde did terrifically well on Thursday. Let's take a listen to him in his own words.
Well, Wales is on top of my agenda, and that's the key thing. And it's been great to engage in many, many conversations over the course of this election on the question of independence and what this election meant for independence. And I said this election isn't about independence, in that there is no proposal by myself or by coming to put a referendum on the table. I don't think we're there yet. And I've spoken, if you like, not from a policy position, but that's my belief. If we are to, redesign our nation and redesign Britain, in order to be able to have something that works, that people can believe works for them, we have to take people with us. But it is about the future of Wales. I don't believe that our lot now is as good as it can get. We need to move forward with more powers for this Parliament, the powers in this Parliament, the powers for the people of Wales, and then we make the case for where we can take this journey constitutionally and why.
Just talk to us more about how Welsh politics looks now, Trevor, because like you say, this was just a market shift. Yes, and it's a very striking thing that he was very clear, and I think we're going to look at what Steve Flynn, the person who I think is probably going to be the deputy leader in Edinburgh, went in a slightly different direction. Remember, did, I think, a very clear thing. He says that we are going to be in government. We are going to be a good government, and what we're going to do is to demonstrate what good government in Wales looks like before we start to think about any constitutional issues, any referendum on independence, and so on. And I think that's a very clear strategy. His problem is that in order to be able to do that, he's got to make sure that he can persuade Westminster to give him both access to the system of reserve, billions of, hundred millions in money that he can have access to, but he has to get that agreed with the Treasury. And he's got to be able to persuade them to let him spend it on what he wants it to be spent on. So that's going to be, I think, the first battle that he has to demonstrate that Clyde will be different and be more successful than Labour. But I think I don't think we can stress too much what a new situation this is in Wales, and how traumatic the effect of what's happened in Wales will be to Labour people, because they've never experienced in the whole history of the Labour Party Wales not being, as it were, their fiefdom.
Well, let's go from Wales to Scotland, shall we? We heard from Clyde. Let's hear now from Stephen Flynn from the SNP.
I think it's perfectly reasonable based upon the result of the election, where, as you quite rightly highlighted, we now have more pro-independence MSPs coming into Holyrood than ever before, to make clear to Westminster that the people of Scotland should have the chance and the opportunity to decide their own future, to look at broken Brexit Britain, or look at a hopeful, aspirational, independent Scotland, which can grow its economy, use its energy well to the benefit of the people who live here, and be a prosperous place for our young people. And it's not just in Scotland where that is very much on the table. I was listening to Serene, who's the likely incoming First Minister in Wales. We're obviously aware of the fact that Michelle O'Neill is the First Minister in Northern Ireland too. The constitutional landscape within the UK has been shattered, and it's time for Westminster to wake up to the reality that they now face.
Stephen Flynn there doing a bit of clever accounting, because he overlooked the fact that the SNP lost seats and the Greens gained, and that's how he's got to the number of the largest number of pro-independence members in Scotland. But it wasn't a stunning success, to say the least, for the SNP. Where do they go now, and how do they look going? Well, you're right, they felt that a little bit, but I think the basic point is this is their fifth time round as the government of Scotland, and I think he did something which people like you and me doing our job slightly dread, which is he says something completely, not quite the opposite, but unexpected. Because I rather expected him to say something similar to Reed after Always, which is that actually, of course, we haven't got a majority because what they said before the election was that if there is an SNP majority at Holyrood, they will sue, as it were, for campaign for a second independence referendum. Now, they haven't got that, but with the Greens, Scottish Greens, who do support independence and others, they do have a majority in the Parliament. And I sort of expected him to fudge it, but he was pretty clear that they now intend to negotiate with other parties to try to get another referendum. And what Stephen Flynn did was go even further than that to say that he's going to try and persuade the Welsh and also the Northern Ireland First Minister, Michelle O'Neill, to think about independence polls. And in Northern Ireland, they have this idea of a border poll. When I spoke to Michelle O'Neill a few months back, she didn't really put that up as her top of the agenda item. But I think the Scots have now decided that they can renew their push for independence, but with a new element, which is that there are separatist leaders also in Cardiff and in Belfast, and that together they can create a sort of environment, a political environment, in which the idea of these polls, these referendums on independence, become normalized, and that in a shorter order than we would otherwise have thought, there are these polls. In fact, some people in Scotland are talking about referendums that take place simultaneously in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I think that's unlikely, but I think we can begin to see the arguments about the United Kingdom and its sticking together beginning to emerge, and we'll see a lot more of that in the next couple of years.
The last time there was a referendum, the Conservatives were in power. They are far from that these days. You had James Cleverly, the Shadow Housing Secretary, on this morning. And of course, the question that lies at the door of both Reform and the Conservatives is the potential of any working relationship between the two parties to the right of politics. He had this to say.
What we're not going to do is we're not going to help other political parties down to local areas.
Please like and subscribe. Appreciate the support.
Locally, are you now saying that you're going to tell your local councillors if they can form a stable administration with Reform councillors that they may not do so?
Hi, Hellstrom.
Our plan is to make sure that we protect the people of the country from bad government. We're not going to prop up administrations that do what they did in Worcestershire, for example, by putting up council tax by 9%, or massively increasing the councillor allowance.
Using this as an opportunity to tell me how awful Reform is, rather than telling me what.
Yeah, that's fine. And look, we're not talking that sometimes, but I don't want my party, our party, or no. And so what I'm getting is, no, it's like the default will go the default position is no.
You got there eventually, so the default position is no. The wiggle out of him, but the default position is no. But you know what, Gareth? Position is no morning. I suspect that the basic currency of politics, which is power, will overwhelm all pledges. And if there comes a point when they have to choose between being in charge of the big local authority and not being in charge, and if the price of being in charge is corporations with Reform, I suspect that they will find a way of saying, we don't want to do this, but the people come before the party and we're prepared to sacrifice everything in order to make sure that the bins are taken away and so on. And if that means we have to work with Reform, then we'll do that. So I suspect we'll get used over the next couple of years to seeing these parties cooperating, and that will take us to a which I doubt if there'll ever be any formal pact ahead of a general election, but that both Reform and the Conservatives will have a plan available to them for a situation
that we're looking at right now, where there is no overall majority, but if you added that light blue bar reform to the darker blue bar Conservatives, you get a stable House of Commons majority. And I really wonder, if the then leaders of the Conservative and Reform parties are going to be holding their noses up at any kind of coalition when at stake are the keys to number 10. It will be a long time in politics before that, but we'll get to when it eventually happens. Good to see you, Trevor, and plenty more from Trevor's programme, of course. The highlights of on the Sky News app, on the live page as well. Now then, watch the Sky today. Just come and look at the impact of the Iran war and how the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz could affect.
Mom,
If we push too hard, something will push back. What happens next is my favorite part.
and new film on Sky One.
It doesn't matter who stacked it.
And it doesn't matter if it's not pre-soaked or pre-rinsed.
And it doesn't even matter if you use the quick cycle. But what does matter is that you use New Fairy's 30-minute miracle.
With the combined power of our 5 cleaning girls, new Fairy 30-minute miracles tackles even the toughest challenges for our most powerful clean ever.
Now that really does matter.
New Fairy 30-minute miracles are number 1 for top food cleaning.
Everything changed
Ew.
when I decided to follow my passion and build a brand around what I love. We finished that and the power of our Shopify.
Your happy place can become unhappy when bad odours wait at home. Use the Breeze plug-in. Just insert a refill and plug it into the socket. Its three-in-one action constantly fights odours, gives noticeable freshness, and lasts long. So you always come home to your happy place with a clean and fresh scent you love. Enjoy the Breeze plug-in with three-in-one action.
Imagine needing a tradesperson. And suddenly, reviews appear. Craig did a brilliant job. Skills are checked. With My Builder, it's real, and you can choose to connect with the tradesperson you want. That's why we're trusted by homeowners. My Builder, a reliable way to hire a tradesperson.
Is your blind making your clothes smell musty? Must the must with Lenore Outdoorable. Lush, sunshine freshness, drying outdoors and your clothes. But the nose being hosted by spring itself. Fresh. Lenore Outdoorable, fresh as it dried out sunlight.
You're watching Sky News, Guy Farlow with you, and the US-Israel war on Iran is now in its third month, and there are growing concerns about how the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will affect the price and availability of food. Our Europe correspondent Alistair Bungle will send this report.
The war in Iran has already affected the cost of flights and the cost of fuel at the pump, but it could soon affect food prices too. But we've come to Italy to find out how farmers here are coping. Italy is one of the main producers of tomatoes, certainly in Europe, if not the world. And here in the south in Puglia, the heart of the industry. So there's a pretty good chance that the tomatoes that you eat will come from here.
Almost by at least 50% compared to the price we had before the
50%?
Yeah,
And
compared to
a
the
couple of months of war, so we're
Yeah.
by that much.
exactly. And the other very high cost that we are suffering now is the fuel, because all the tractors we use in the farm we need a lot of gasoline or fuel, and fuel price is increased by almost 1.
These have only just been planted a couple of weeks ago. In a few months' time, they'll be producing thousands and thousands of tomatoes. But to grow tomatoes, like most produce, you need fertilizer, and fertilizer comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And so this year, these tomatoes will be a lot more expensive than they were last year.
Tipping it,
Yeah,
that's going to be more expensive as well, is it?
yeah. Also the cost of shipping is increasing a lot, yeah.
So the point is, every single area of production from the moment you plant the sapling to the moment it goes to your customers is more expensive.
Yeah, Ventigalier. This is the Federico coal plant just outside Brindisi, and it was one of the biggest and worst polluting in the whole of Europe until it was finally shut down last year. So now the Italian government is saying it might need to reopen coal refineries if the Strait of Hormuz remains locked.
The consequences of this crisis will clearly be on the prices of Italian agricultural products going to other European countries, because the crisis has a significant impact on prices and affects our country's competitiveness.
Here in Rome, the Italian government has told us that even if the Strait of Hormuz was open this weekend or in the next couple of days, for example, the consequences of the war in Iran mean that things will not get back to normal for months, possibly even longer than that.
Details there from us local reporting from Italy. You're watching Sky News.
You're looking happy.
Well, the forecast looks good.
So you've sorted the travel insurance then? All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors Sky News Weather.
Cooler than average over the next few days. Conditions becoming changeable with some lively showers in the forecast for midweek. Despite the drop in temperature, good sunshine and weather this afternoon. Much of England and Wales actually seeing sunny spells developing after some early rain in the southeast clears away. Wet and windy conditions in the northwest spreading south into central Scotland, while Northern Ireland largely cloudy with a few showers at times. Temperatures peaking in the teens Celsius for most, while southwest could see a daytime high of 18, that's 64 Fahrenheit. Overnight, cloud and rain.
That's gonna fucking pitch down. That's all you need to say.
By daybreak. Clearer, colder conditions that follow from the north with a widespread frost and some wind.
Jumper or t-shirt, mate. Jumper or t-shirt.
As well. Central and southern parts of the country have a dull start to the week. Showery rain will be spreading southwards. Elsewhere, some sunny spells. It will feel chilly. Temperatures ranging from 14 degrees in Portsmouth, 12 in Northern Ireland, as far as northern Scotland. It's going to be 7 to 10.
All Clear Travel Insurance proudly sponsors Sky News Weather.
You're watching Sky News. We continue to keep a close eye on the situation in Tenerife and Canary, where the MV Honduras, the vessel at the centre of the hantavirus outbreak, has arrived in port. This is the live scene there at 5 to 11 local time. Well, that's the live scene in the port. This is the live scene at the airport, where passengers and crew are preparing to embark on planes to take them further towards their homeward destinations. It comes to World Health Organization chief says that disembarkment of passengers and crew is underway.
Steve,
Responses of people
invest in your next version.
And scrubs on hair net scrubs.
Yeah, it's all good fun.
More details of the developing story with us here on Sky News.
Spanish version of COVID. You can fuck off.
Sell fashion, kids' toys, sports gear and more with no fees on Vinted. And you know, sell it.
There once was a woman who lived in a shoe. Decided she smelled for it. What could she do? But that's not where her story ends. Thanks to a little help from her experienced friends, she got her score into much better shape and relocated to the spot where she was placed with room to grow and a mortgage to suit. Now she lives in a spacious 4-bedroom cowboy boot. Experience. Better your score, better your story.
Debt can feel like you're spinning through space with nothing to hold on to. But remember, not everything you hear about debt collection is true. If a debt collection agency contacts you, don't ignore it, as they can help you explore your options. So reach out and you can begin to sort things out. And before you know it, you're moving in the right direction. Let's talk about debt.
Happy birthday again. Here's a cake and some friends. But what if we actually
Pretty, does it?
Yeah, fucking don't.
If he was a good detective, he'd have decent furniture. Oh, you two stop moaning. It's all that taking it. Good side.
necessary stuff, this wood. Pack it in. Don't judge the man on your list. I mean, obviously a sign of a man's success rate, isn't it? Anyone at home? No thanks, we keep them. I've heard that voice before, but it's so annoying. Oh my God. What is Stanley? Well, it's a surprise. Look, we just got that. Oh, stay and have a chat, eh?
Stay and have a chat.
Oh, we've got some things to talk over after all. Let's climb up on the roof, eh? And then when we blew up our weekend past, seems like whenever we meet you, life gets interesting. Whenever we meet you, life gets very dangerous. Yeah, what was your code name now? Don't tell me. Blue Serpent. Ready that stuff. What's the ballistic diamond bit? Good, eh? Now, I based it on the Humphrey Bogart character Sam Spade. Got a play around with all the cards, suits, heavy hearts, college clubs. Finally, I settled on Dick Dong. But stand there, sit down, eh? Let's have a drink, shall we? Are you there still fighting for equality? Yeah. It's quite like old times, isn't it, eh? How's things with you? Back with your wife? Unfortunately not. My wife was a troubled person. She was, not to put too fine a point on it, man-made. Nymphomania is not a pretty sight at close quarters. But she's abroad at the moment. She ran off to live with Australia. Well, there you go. Come on. Oh, yes, of course. I nearly forgot. Well, you can have my coffee. There's a spoon here somewhere. Hang on. Spoon. Somebody's taken it. That's a cheeky thing, isn't it? Nifty, the private eye spoon. Oh, never mind. Here you go. Hey. So. What can I do for you, mate?
Dooby-dooby-doo.
But what makes you think he didn't? Because he's a compulsive criminal. Not the best ground for an investigation, Red Leader. No, it's not like that. You see, he's always pleaded guilty normally, but in this particular case, he swears blind innocent. That's why we believe him. All right, interesting, yeah. Well, I'm not sure if I can fit you in, Red Leader, I'm a very busy man. Sure, understood, totally understood. Come on, that's all that. By the way, I charge £40 a day plus expenses. Oh, well, that tips it right on there, then, isn't it? I mean, you can only run to it and a plus by your own. Done. I accept. He's supposed to be a private detective. He can't even buy the spoon. He's not trying to find it. I don't know. He's the best man a group of friends do. No, definitely not.
Dooby-dooby-doo.
like you to do, Red Leader, is to get me a copy of the transcript of the trial and then arrange a visit to your friend.
Sure, okay, it's right.
Well done. There's a lot of them about.
Okay. You are all right.
I'm Red Leader.
No, it's just that this mate, they're really close on it. I mean, there's nothing but best in them. Okay? I mean, after all, you have been how can I put this nicely, in a nut house.
But I'm over all that. I'm as sane as anyone.
Right.
Of course, I still have to take the occasional pill.
Exactly, calm the old nerves like, right?
That's what they'd like you to believe. Do you know what these pills are really for? Isn't it obvious? They are turning me into Humphrey Bogart. Get the picture? No eyes?
That's it, cool. Silly me. They're Humphrey Bogart pills. Yeah, I can see that now. That's terrific. Bye.
You must remember this. The fundamental things apply as time goes. Stop that singing! That's right. Rough outline of the case. Now, I'd like you, Speed, to tell me in your own words what happened.
What happened? I'll tell you what happened, Mr. Topkin.
Diamond.
Mr. Topkin Diamond. Well, I was about to go in a witness box to give my side of the story when Petra Fleeting Cherry woke up and stops me giving evidence in my own defence. He stitched me up. You stitched me up.
Please. What I want to know, Speed, is what happened on the day in question.
Well, it was like this. It was my son's birthday, Steve. I went out to buy a little present. One of his jewellery shop at Westall, down the island. Well, I was looking about there, right, and I picked up a couple of items to have a close look at them. And suddenly the door burst open, in rushed the filth and nicked me.
And what did you do then?
Well, I did what any honest citizen would do. I smacked him in the teeth and legged it.
You say you picked up certain items. Did you put these items in your pocket?
No,
Did you attempt to leave the shop with them?
no, I was just looking.
Complete and utter travesty of justice. They had no grounds to arrest him for merely looking.
Well, I actually got him on a legal technicality.
What legal technicality?
The shop was closed. No, I told you. Mr. Rossman told me to meet him there during his dinner hour.
You know Mr. Rossman?
Well, yeah, he's a defence.
It isn't it? So let's look at the facts, shall we? Speed, a well-known, compulsive criminal, is found inside a jeweler's shop in the dinner hour. The lock's been busted, his fingerprints are everywhere, and after he makes a run for it, £10,000 worth of diamonds are found to be missing.
It's just circumstantial evidence.
But in the meantime, Mr. Russman, his good friend, who was willed to appear in court, who invited him to the shop and then denied it, who left the door open and was then conveniently called away, and who is now claiming compensation from his insurance company, says that Speed buried the missing jewels. This strikes me, Red Leader, that someone, somewhere is lying.
Of course, why are you asking for that? All right, Stephen.
Of course he didn't. It's a bit Russman has set him up. Clear as crystal. He sets up a well-known criminal to discover his own insurance fraud. After all, only an idiot would believe Speed.
It's like I do, of course I do. I had my doubts at first, though.
So, Russman is the guilty party. All we have to do now is to follow him until we find the loot.
Okay.
in later. If I take this case and prove his innocence, how will he pay me?
Oh, it's simple. You talk to Mayor Diamond and play with that.
Don't spend a wedge on your fruit and veg. Get down to Aldi. Plus 2 for 6. It's award-winning, fresh, and for just 59p.
With BetterHelp, when clients are making progress, you can really notice from the very start of the session. They're coming with a little bit more of a lift in their face, a little bit more light in their eyes. As a counsellor on BetterHelp, what I want to help my clients do is to accept themselves so that they can become supposed to be. BetterHelp makes it step in therapy.
My neighbour lost her husband not long ago. He didn't have a funeral plan, so she had the stress of organising the funeral and paying for it. I was shocked when she told me the cost, so I decided to get a funeral plan. I chose Pure Cremation because they're a national and trusted company with the most positive comments from families, and their price is all inclusive. They're so respectful. Their crematoria are in beautiful parkland, and they have the highest standards. They personally return your ashes in an urn, and they treat families like family. When the time comes, having a plan will save my loved ones thousands. I mean, they can arrange any send-off they want. It's such a comfort to know they'll be looked after.
Dooby-dooby-doo. Dooby-dooby-doo.
I urgently need to ask for your help on behalf of our neighbours right now.
What are you doing over there? Yeah.
With the pandemic came a surge in pet ownership. And sadly, we're now seeing a serious rise.
Large.
Our services are being stretched to the limit.
No.
To make matters worse, our costs are only too. But
That's a lie.
Disembarking from the vessel, you can see that off the ship that is now in Tenerife. There's been questions as to whether the vessel would make it or not. There's been some debate between the authorities in Canals and central government in Spain, but it has made it in this vessel make its way back to portside, and the vessel has also seen that people arriving at the airport as well. All the details from our correspondent.
Congratulations, Brendan, that we've all been waiting for has started. We've seen small boats bringing passengers from the Honduras ship, the MV Honduras ship, to the port here, and then seeing them being loaded onto buses, and the buses very quickly moving on. I have to say, this whole thing is being done very, very quickly. From the moment we've seen the first boat start moving, right to the first bus left was about 20 minutes. And it's been what looks like a very smooth journey. And we were told in advance that the very first passengers to disembark would be Spanish passengers. And so presumably a moment of relief for the Spanish authorities, but also for the Spanish passengers who have waited for a rather long time for this to happen. I'm just going to show you what we're looking at here. We've got the cruise liner there, the MV Honduras ship, that's the blue and white boat that you can see there. And if we swing round to the left, you can see there the buses which are waiting. And perhaps you can see some personnel from the Spanish Civil Guard in white hazmat suits. I don't know if you can make out a orange fence between where we're standing and the buses. And I think that is like a very strict separation barrier that exists, that only a few people are allowed to go through. This is being done very strictly to keep the local population completely separate to the passengers on the ship and those who are coordinating this to make sure that there is no infection being spread or anything like that. But as you say, the passengers have all been assessed this morning, including personnel from the World Health Organization. We spoke to them. They said that their colleagues had gone on board disembark. And we also heard today from the Spanish health minister, we asked her how unprecedented this whole situation has been. And this is what she said.
Oi, brother. What's happening?
I want to say some thanks. So there will be to the ECDC, to all the administration, all the countries that are involved. This operation requires the cooperation of 23 countries. I want to remark this. 23 countries are involved in this operation. I want to thank all the institutions, the WHO, of course, and when all the passengers remain asymptomatic. The boat has arrived at 6:30 p.m. The entire operation is proceeding normally.
Depending on board with over 149 people, a number of them are set to remain because they're free, they'll have to take this ship elsewhere. And in terms of the ones that have arrived, those 60 that are returning across the airport just 10 minutes away from the port where I'm from.
Fuck off. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Power to the people. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Savage, savage. Oh. Talk about it, mate. Talk about it. Oi, oi, big guy. You call it big. I'm small. Above average. That'll work. Literally, man, sister. Shit, lovers.
Don't do anything to annoy him, will you?
Don't do anything to annoy him. I'm an off-duty policeman. Bosh. Goes through long old tears.
Well, I'm not really sure, but I think that's the
Nightmare. Hello, everyone. You alright? You stalking or you talking? Bosh. 60 million people in Britain. Double that.
Yes, I remember that.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
What happened today? But it was you who took them. But you still got them, and £10,000 worth of insurance company money into the bargain. Oh.
Yeah, it was you all the time. It was you who invited our mate to the shop. It was you who tipped off the police, and it was you who busted that lock. Am I right, Mr. Rossman?
Your facts may be right, but there's just one tiny flaw in your reference. I'm not Mr. Rossman. I'm Granger, the manager. Mr. Rossman went about business.
Oh, well, you're certainly living up to your trade name, Toskin.
Diamond?
Dick.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
I understand you're working for yourself now, Mr. Toskin. That's right, sir. Dick Diamond, Private Investigations Incorporated.
I bet the criminals can stand that chance with you around, Mr. Topkins.
No. These are nice
little fella, isn't he, eh?
Yes. Though he did a naughty on our carpet yesterday.
Are you a dog man yourself, Mr. Coffey?
He'd have a dog a few years back. He was a little Scotty dog with a coat like pure white snow.
Ah, what was his name?
Spot. Unfortunately, he got run over. I've always blamed myself for it.
Oh, you shouldn't, Mr. Thompson.
So I left home one morning with the intention of visiting some colleagues of mine down at the Police Social Club. As I left, I forgot to close the garden gate. And later that day, as I was returning, spotted me. And naturally, he got all excited at his master's return and ran out to greet me. He reached the middle of the road when...
What, you actually saw him?
Of course not. If I'd seen him, I'd have slammed me brakes on him.
You're fired. You're off the case.
What are you getting so upset about? You didn't even know Spot.
That's not right. This is just another example of your total incompetence. I mean, you're a private detective who loses spoons, eats up these Zogart pills and runs your own dogs over. What chance have we got of catching Rossman, eh?
If you just give me a little more time.
Hey, just a minute. You don't mean Ted Rossman, the jeweler, do you?
Yes, the man I'm after. He's stolen £10,000 worth of diamonds in an insurance swindle.
What? Hey, no. Ted Rossman's a member of my Masonic Lodge. You know, we're friends.
Yes, this is Mr. Rossman's dog.
It's Rossman's dog.
Business.
What question is what? Mr. Rossman's gone up north to buy a farm. He didn't want to take little Toby with him in case he caught Andrew. Oh, yes, sir.
I think you're mistaken about Mr. Rossman, you know. He's a paradox of virtue. I like him to my friends, Mr. Lynch and Mr. Penning.
Oh, yes. He's a charming man. The night he left, he drove his out of his way just to bring Toby his favourite collar.
Right. No. No, let Toby leave. I've seen Lassie do it.
He took the diamonds up north with him and buried them.
Still obvious.
No, I think he took them out in his boat and dumped them in the ocean. Oh,
Five.
very sweet.
Stuck the diamonds in Toby's collar.
Oh, come on, Laura.
What we have to do is to try and think like
Shit up.
criminals. Worthwhile to tell
Sort
where
out
you are.
fucking Christy now, son.
He's just up that with the diamonds.
We want to refer to be a lender with morals. Yeah, that's like police intelligence. That go together. And household savings help us get through the crisis. What crisis? I can talk about crisis. So, reach on young figures. One point three that fucking day. 3 minutes.
Without just trying to point out to you the bottom
If they're real diamonds, they'll cut glass. I hear that. It's the Jewish way.
Okay.
something where you can go, you know what I
I'm
mean?
talking about Mr. Tucking Diamond.
Well, Humphrey Burgott, all he did was wet Tucker's very now with a power behind your release.
Gosh.
Oh, yeah.
There's loads of different times. Who's in the edit?
You know what thing my trouble is? I reckon I'm kleptomaniac. Yeah? See, I need to book on the subject. I've got all the symptoms. I mean, I go shopping. Now, listen, I go shopping. I see something I like. I think, oh, I know where that is.
It's in your pocket, yeah?
Yeah. What's worrying me, though? I'm taking the zero out of the this afternoon. Oh, no, I know. I've got there in all innocence. Before I know it, I'm doing an Irish steak away. Listen.
Willpower, what is it? Willpower. If temptation comes your way, you think of a shooting pot in the front and its cause. And our present cause, with the help of this man's professional advice, sue the police for wrongful arrest. Oh yeah, not to make sure the fascists don't get away with slandering an innocent man's name. He's got a very good character. What beats me is how the police never cottoned on to Russell's little game. What beats me is how the jury ever accepted such flimsy circumstantial evidence.
And what beats me is that ever noticed all this other stuff missing?
You might be in a hurry, but there is the matter of my bill. Oh, yeah.
Judge.
Well, yes, man.
Doobie-doobie-doo. Gosh. Now, don't run out. Take it easy, everyone.